Hello, welcome to the Con Corner. I'm Tina, and today we're going to make English muffins. Yes, you can make English muffins, and yes, they do taste just like the ones in the store, except they're better. And they'll keep for several days, which makes them even better. I'm currently working on a few things that I want to bake for the farmer's market next summer. And right now the market's on Saturday, so I spend all day on Friday baking these fresh breads and things that don't have any preservatives in them, so they're not going to last very long. And so I'm looking for something that I can make, maybe bake it on Thursday, and still have it, be able to pop it in the refrigerator and still have it be really nice and fresh on a Saturday morning. The nice thing about the English muffins is I think they actually improve a little bit with a couple of days age on them. They get a little bit softer and easier to do. So here we go. I'm going to start with, I've got 1 cup of milk and 1/4 cup of water here that I'm going to warm up to just to hand warm, because I'm going to put my yeast. You don't have to put your yeast in there, but you can do your yeast just in with your flour. However you're used to doing it, you can do it either way. It'll work fine. There's 3 cups of flour, and I've got bread flour, so I'm using that. The last time that I made them with regular unbleached flour, and they came out good. So it's just that when you're using yeast, bread flour has more gluten in it, and so it just makes a nicer product. Okay, now I'm going to add a teaspoon of I forgot salt. Hold on, let me go get the salt. Mise en place. I told Paul the other day, I said, I'm going to make some British muffins. And he said, some what? And I said, some British muffins. And he said, some what? Oh, English muffins. Okay, got a teaspoon of salt. Got a teaspoon of sugar. And this is a legitimately British recipe, too. So I'm reading it to you in American English, but in British English it's calling for caster sugar and a pound of flour. So, and 2 teaspoons of yeast. And I'm using the instant yeast. I have both on hand. I have a customer that when I bake for her, I don't put any of the ascorbic acid in it, but this quick yeast has vitamin C in it, and that helps it just it just kind of kicks it up and helps it rise just a little bit better. But there we go. And if you want, you can put a little dab of baking soda in there, just a hair, just maybe a 1/4 teaspoon, just to kind of give it that little baking soda-y flavor. Stir all this up. See how my milk's coming along here. Okay, it's coming. Now I have a little trick I'm going to do to rise anything. We don't have central air and heat, so the temperature in our kitchen can vary a whole lot. In the summertime, bread can rise anywhere, but what I have found that works really good is to just turn the oven on for 1 minute, then turn it off, and then put my bread in there to rise. It gives it a nice warm environment that doesn't have any drafts, so it's not going to get all dried out. So that works really, really well. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to turn it on for 1 minute and hit the timer for 1 minute, and that way it'll Just a little bit more. I think probably when I turn the oven off is when I'll need to, is when I'll turn my milk off too. I don't guess y'all need me standing here staring at you, do we? I'll turn it back on when the timer goes off. All right, now then, my timer's gone off, and my milk and water mixture is just warm, just about like a baby's bottle, just about your body temperature. It's what I like. You can do it a little bit warmer, but too warm and it'll kill the yeast, so don't want to do that. I'd rather give it a little bit longer to rise. All right, I'm going to go over and mix this. If you're doing it by hand, just stir it with a spoon until you get a nice batter, and then turn it out and knead it for 10 minutes. So I'm going to do it in my mixer this time. All right, this has been kneaded. I'm going to let it rise now in my oven, just in the bowl, for until it's about doubled, and that's going to be about half an hour or 40 minutes. But I wanted you to see it's a nice soft dough, but it's not sticky at all. So it's going to look, when you first start mixing it, it's going to look like it might be a little bit dry, but just keep on going with it. And usually this amount, if you've got your measurements right, that 1 pound of flour and 1 cup of milk and 1/4 cup of water, it should work out just perfect there. So I'm going to set this in the in my preheated and oven. I turned my oven off already. Don't ever forget to leave it on before you turn it in there. So I'll be right back as soon as that finishes. All right, I've waited half an hour. Everything is it's risen into double. Now let me go get my rolling pin, which I forgot to bring. Oops. It did take just about half an hour, which is just about, so the thing about this is another one of those breads that even though you have 2 risings, you can still be done with it in an hour and a half. It just doesn't take much to make it. So I'm going to put a little bit of flour there, but it doesn't need much. And you only roll it out to the thickness that you want. I don't want it too thin. About finger high on your thickness. Okay, because you're only going to make about a dozen out of these. So there we go. I use a this is a pineapple can. It's just about the right size. I originally got it to use for poached eggs. Pineapple cans still are made with the top and the bottom the same, where they're very easy to use a can opener to remove the top and the bottom of the can. And so these also make great poached egg rings. But I'm going to use it right now to cut this out with. This is not a very sticky dough, so you don't really need a whole lot of extra flour. And of course I'm going to put the cornmeal on it before I put it in for its second rising. Okay, so there's 7. So I might get 10 out of here. We'll see. And this one I'm just gonna roll up and mash it into shape. It'll be my little waist one. Now then, I have, this is not lard, although I do use lard, but I didn't use any of these. You can use lard to grease your griddle with. You do need a hard fat for that won't burn easily. But in this case, I've used just some other fat that I had. All right, I'm just putting down a little cornmeal, and this is just for authenticity. Now I've greased this just a little bit, my cookie sheet. This is what I'm going to let these rise on, because they need to rise again for about another 30 minutes. I'm going to put them back into my oven and let them rise for another 30 minutes. And then, in the meantime, I've got my electric griddle, and that's what I'm going to use to cook these on. If you don't have an electric griddle, it's one of those things that for a long time I thought, oh, I don't need one of those, it's just something extra. But it's amazing how much I've used it. I'm much more willing to make pancakes more often now because they're so much easier to bake on the griddle. It's really good for things like this, where you could do these in a skillet or on a stovetop griddle, but you really need to be able to control your temperature and keep it really low, because they're actually baking. It's just that they're baking on a hot surface instead of inside an oven. So the electric griddle helps with that a lot. Alrighty, I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, I'm back. It's about half an hour later, and I've let my muffins rise. I have lightly greased my pan, and now I'm going to put just a little dab of cornmeal sprinkled all around on it, just to get that cornmeal that makes them feel so authentic. Some of the recipes will call for using farina, which is cream of wheat, and I thought, I love cream of wheat as a hot cereal. It's over $4 a box for cream of wheat. Now, it's crazy. There's no excuse for it costing that much. And cornmeal, the same size package, or actually more cornmeal is, what, 88 cents? It's so I think we'll switch from cream of wheat to cornmeal mush. It's the same thing. I've got my muffins have risen real nicely here, and see how they look. They kept their shape real well, and I've got a rack set out to put them on too. Okay, I've preheated my griddle to 300 degrees, and now I'm putting my muffins on here to bake. You want these to bake real slowly, because they're going to take about 6 minutes per side, and so you don't want them to get too brown. So your oven, your griddle needs to be coolish. I'm going to let these off. They're kind of sticky a little bit there. I think I'll let these last two until I can move these over a little. There we go. I'll move these a little bit. And then did my little throwaway one here. It won't look as good as the rest of them. I'll get better. I haven't made these that much yet, so I'll find a way to make that last little piece. I hate to throw away that last little dab, whether it's pie crust or whatever it is. So, alright, these need to bake for 6 minutes on this side, and then I'll turn them. I'll be back. Okay, my timer's just about to go off, and there we go. Alright. Now I'm going to turn them over. And just the act of turning them will flatten them down just fine on the other side. So you don't have to follow any kind of convoluted instructions about laying plates on them or anything like that. They'll do, the weight of them themselves will take care of that. All right, now I've turned them. Now I've got another 6 minutes on this side, and then we'll be back. All right, now my timer's gone off again. So I'm going to turn the stove off. They feel nice and light. I'm going to take my mixed up one here, and I'm going to open it with a fork, so that I don't normally with these. I have found that they work better. Of course, you want to open them with a fork, but they work better if you let them cool before you do. At least that's my experience. But just open them like you would a regular English muffin by poking a fork through it all the way around. And there you go. Nice done all the way through. So I'm going to take these off and let them cool on a rack here. And like I said, you know, of course it's winter time here and it's cooler, but these are keeping on the counter for about 5 days without getting stale. So if you keep them in the refrigerator, you should be able to do at least a week, regardless of the weather, of nice tasting muffins, and they're of course stored in plastic. So, all right, there you go. They're
not going to last a week.
Do what?
They're not going to last a week.
Paul says they're not going to last a week. He's been enjoying them. I've been, you know, doing the egg muffins with some bacon or some hog jowl and an egg and some cheese on them. Toast them up, butter them, and toast them. That's the way to eat them. Is, you know, split them, butter them, and then toast them. So I hope that you guys will enjoy this and maybe have them for a nice Christmas breakfast during the week. All right, thanks a bunch.